All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So today we're going to be continuing our discussion of just a brief review of factoring. And we're going to be talking today about factoring trinomials, but trinomials where a is greater than 1. So the first example that I've pulled from Delta Math is 2x squared plus 17x plus 35. Before we jump into that, let's just remind ourselves of what we were talking about. Previously, we've been talking a little bit about the quadratic formula. Now, the key piece to remember about the quadratic formula is that the quadratic formula solves, okay? It gives you an answer. We're looking to factor, which is really the step before solving. So the ones that I'm giving you are a review from a couple of months ago in class, and they're specifically a review of ones that we don't need to use the quadratic formula on. So you don't want to use the quadratic formula here. What you do want to use, though, is your calculator method. And we've discussed a little bit about how to do this. So because there is a number out in front, what we're going to do is multiply. We called this the AC method, and we started by multiplying 2 times 35. Okay, and we get 70. Now we're going to use that 70 in our y equals. So if you remember, we go in and we clear out y1 and y2. And we're going to do 70 divided by x. And then in the next part, we'll do 70 divided by x plus x. Second table. And we're looking for the third column to be that middle number 17. And I see right here that 7 and 10 give me 17. So what that tells me, okay, is that I'm getting 7 and 10 as my factors. Now, that's part 1. Part 1 tells me, well, what can I do with this, right? So what I really am getting here is 2x squared plus 7x plus 10x plus 35. What I've basically done here is split this 17x into a 7x plus a 10x. And that split comes from the fact that I got those two there. Now, we saw a couple of different ways of handling this, right? And the main way that we wanted to go about handling this was specifically we wanted to pull out a GCF. Okay, so in pulling out that GCF, what are we doing? Well, we're going to be taking the GCF of the left and the GCF of the right. So the GCF of the left is x, and that leaves me with a 2x plus 7. Now I'm going to take the GCF of the right out, and that's between 10 and 35. There's no x on the 35. I'm going to get a GCF of 5. And that leaves me with a 2x plus 7. And if you remember when we did this, we were looking to get the same thing inside the parentheses. So that tells me that one of my factors is 2x plus 7. The other factor is x plus 5. And so for Delta Math, I'm going to get 2x plus 7. And x plus 5. And there's my correct answer. Okay, so let's try a new problem. 5x squared plus 37x plus 14. Okay, so the first thing to do is multiply a times c, which is 5 times 14. We get 70. Happens to be the same number. Okay, so we're looking for two numbers, right? Because we got 70 again, we're going to get 70 again. That's going to be the same. But now we're looking for that middle number to be 37. Okay, so we jump up here, and we see it here, 2 and 35. So that's going to be 5x squared plus 35x plus 2x plus 14. Now, what I want to show you here is something that I did, and maybe you've taken notice of it, maybe you haven't. But the question might be, well, why not 2x plus 35x? Why 35x plus 2x? Well, I'm thinking ahead. And the next step that I'm going to be doing is splitting this down the middle and factoring the left and the right. Now addition is commutative, meaning I could do it in any order and it won't matter. So what I'm doing here is I'm putting the 2 close to the 14 because 2 and 14 are going to have a GCF of 2. And 5 with the 35 because 5 and 35 are going to have a GCF of 5. So that's going to just be an advantage to me. Now, if you did it the other way, you're still going to get the exact same answer in the end. It just is a little bit different. So I'm going to take my GCF out now, and my GCF here is 5x. That leaves me with an x plus 7. My GCF on the right is 2, and that leaves me with an x plus 7. Remember, the check is I have to get the same thing in the parentheses, meaning that my answer is going to be 5x plus 2 and my x plus 7. So there we go. We can plug that into Delta Math. Oh, let's see what happened here. What did I plug in? Oh, you'll notice here I put in double parentheses. That was my issue. So, okay, just a plugging into the calculator kind of issue. So again, we've covered this before, and you'll remember in class we talked about a few different ways to do this. I've only demonstrated one of them here. But, you know, just something to think about. All right, so there we go. That's that for today's video, and next week we'll start something new.